We're live now. Get ready. Started as we're live. Oh, we're actually early today.
Yes.
You know, all you folks are patiently waiting for us.
What folks?
The thousands of people that watch us every week.
Watching.
There's 1,000 people at least. Thousands and thousands. You're not getting your reception here. So
Can you use podcasts and can you shut up? I'll be right back.
Good. All right. So I'm live. Wow. We're going live here. So we are live. I think we're the only people watching us, and John's out there getting everything all set up. Wow, the captions are fantastic. I love the captions on here. Oh, and we're going live in a second. John's just getting his phone all set up. Making a quick phone call. We'll be going live shortly as John's getting all set up here. And this is a special episode because we're actually broadcasting this from the man cave together. So we're actually doing an episode together, which is an absolute first for us. 3 seasons into this, and we're doing our first live video together. So as soon as John gets back to it starts, this will be a lot of fun. There'll be interesting banter on this because we're actually in the same room together. And I'm looking forward to the show tonight, as per usual. It's been a wild weekend, I understand. So we're looking at the scores here already. And hopefully the biggest updates there on what we have. So we don't have all the scores, but we do have some of the scores. And John is back. So yeah, so people are waiting for us. Like I said, 9 o'clock. Here we are. Show started.
Yes, let's get the show started.
All right, let's do it.
Snuggle
in. Like I said, there you go. That's plenty of room. That's the first time there's been 2 people in here.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm honored. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ball Caps and Bagpipes, the Scottish Baseball Podcast. I'm John McKellar of the Glasgow Comets.
And I'm Jason Durr, former league president and Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer.
Proprietor of Dugout Classics.
Proprietor of Dugout Classics.
Former Edinburgh Cannon.
Tea and Tops podcaster, also known as Bubba on Baseball. I've got a lot of aliases on here. So
yeah.
So it's weird to actually see you here instead of looking at the screen to see
what's
going on.
We are in the same place together for the first time doing the show in person. It's a very different experience than I anticipated it being.
I still have a screen to look at, so it's all right. I can still be okay here.
Yeah. So what we're doing this evening, we have 2 game weeks worth of scores to get through because we've had a couple of weeks off. We have the 25th of July's games. There were no games last weekend with it being the midsummer break.
Right.
But we've got this past Sunday's games, and we'll obviously do a run over the league table and the standings as we head into the final stretch of the season. We're also going to talk about baseball equipment, and we're going to do that with an eye on sort of new people. So anyone who's new to the game who encounters this or has just had an interest in the equipment that's used in baseball, we're going to talk about what we need to start out playing. Some of the kind of better kind of known brands, right. And then we'll talk about some of Jason's favourite stuff, whether it be items that he's used playing overseas as a child, as a teenager, up and through his old manhood.
Old manhood. Getting abused in my own man cave.
It's the man cave now.
Man cave office. It's
the man cave, no longer the man cave.
It is.
Why don't we start with the scores from it was 3 Sundays ago, but 2 game days ago, back on July the 25th. So let me just grab that info from my trusty area here, which I have actually a WhatsApp message
I was going to say,
with a piece of paper that I wrote the scores on before I came down.
I was going to say, I probably should have given you the Wi-Fi password on this before we started. Unfortunately not. So the man cave has at least a good 2 feet of solid stone on one side and a street on the other. So so the Wi-Fi doesn't work too well here. As if you watched our Negro League fundraiser interviews last year, I had some problems.
Yeah. Yeah,
I did.
for sure. Yeah, and the least of your problems was getting your name right correct.
I won't even try that one, but yes.
yes.
But yes, so we're doing okay tonight. Yeah, we didn't think this out. Was more kind of surprised that John's in town. I said, all right,
Yes.
let's do the live show from the man cave. So clearly, I need to clear out the man cave and make it a double seater now. So
Let's go back to the 25th of July, way back in time for a good couple of weeks. And we'll start with the Devils over the Breakers, 23-9 was the final score there. I don't know if you remember hearing anything about that game. It's been a while now ago. But obviously a huge victory for the Devils, who, you know, just continue to go from strength to strength to strength this season. I think they've been a real dark horse and a surprise, who've kind of come out of nowhere with this amazing record they have. They're putting massive totals of runs on the board no matter what.
So we do have a game report from them. So but thankfully, Alfredo pitched the game. Now, if you've not played baseball in the last 7 years, you've never heard of Alfredo. Alfredo has returned from hiding. I don't know where he disappeared to, and I think that's a guarded secret of where Alfredo hid for 7 years. But he came back, and the reason why I say this is I remember Alfredo because he once played. Instead of having batting gloves, since we're talking about equipment, he played in gardener's gloves. So
gloves?
From the ones you get from B&Q.
Gardener's gloves?
Not those, not nearly as nice, but yes, he like gardener gloves from B&Q and uses the batting practice gloves. So that was Alfredo. So that was great fun. So yeah, he hasn't pitched in 7 years. The game was very tight. It was 4-4 after the first half of the fourth, and then the Devils opened up with 6 runs. The bottom of the second inning, and added by a 3-run home run by Leo Hernandez. So we had a home run. We haven't had a home run yet for a while.
Yeah, well, Albert got 2 in Tayport.
Well, there we go. So
I think that's the last ones I remember hearing of.
Okay, yeah. So it's, you know, as per usual, not a lot of home runs in the Scottish League here, but that's good. Let's see. They added 11 runs in the bottom of the fourth, helped by a big wave by Panda, who went 4 for 5 with 2 doubles and 4 RBIs. They said Tayport had solid contact and kept to themselves in the bait pass, and they played very well. So all went well. And Ivan wanted to point out that he did go 3 for 4 with a double, an RBI, and 2 runs scored, and unassisted double play.
Interesting. Not something we see often in Scotland, the unassisted double play. Double plays are at a premium overall in this country due to the kind of weird hops and bumps that our fields take.
There's absolutely solid grounds we have to ground the ball on there. So yes, so and they did really well. And they said everyone 1 through 9 got a hit, so they're very proud of the Devils and how they did there. Also they said they had the developmental game, and they came back and won that in a walk-off fashion with a 2-out hit by starting pitcher, and the first time ever pitching, Devin Greenshield. So
excellent.
Good job to you on Devin. Congratulations to all. So that's what I have for that game. So we actually have quite a game roundup from them. So
it seems like it's very much a tale of 2 different seasons, but it seems like it's been par for the course of both those teams. The Devils putting up a lot of runs, putting a lot of contact on the ball. Tayport again putting a lot of contact on the ball, but just somehow not making it past the finish line and not being able to get the pitching depth and the fielding that they have put so much time into, put right into play and holding teams off. So it seems like it's probably a fair result and probably the more expected result in that one. One result that I wasn't expecting, a game that I sadly missed due to injury, was Cannons 20, Comets 4.
I was expecting that.
Well, of course you were. But no, a massive win for the Cannons there. You know, us Comets, we haven't given up a whole lot of runs this season. We've managed to keep teams off the scoreboard more often than not. It looks like some of the old demons from days past crept back into the field, and there were some defensive issues, a couple of errors that were just at the wrong time, which led to that massive scoreline. Obviously, great pitching from the Cannons to hold the Comets to just the 4 runs. 2 straight losses that made. So Comets, after a fantastic start of 4-0, dropped to 4-2 with that loss.
Ooh, that's a rough one there. Like I said, you guys were off to a good start to start the season there, and it definitely is the tale of 2 seasons. You guys started off well, the Cannons not so much, and it's flip-flopped.
The Cannons have started to come good.
Clearly, I went down that day and through batting practice. It just changed everyone's fortunes.
Of course.
I take full credit for that.
So it's your fucking fault, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The last game from the 25th of July is the Galaxy with a great victory over the Aberdeen Oilers, 12-5. The Galaxy have had some struggles this season. They've run into some games where they've had some frustrating losses in the sort of first half, so to speak. So a good way for them to close out the first half before the midsummer break in the season. 12-5 victors there. So those are the 3 games from July 25th.
I think I even have Stephen's game report. Hold on. It's because they have the game changer on it. I'm just trying to see if I can pull it up really quick. Again, my prior research was not the best on this. So
Glasgow Galaxy, there we go. So
There
the
we
Granite
go.
City Oilers, they fell behind early and couldn't come back in a 12-5 loss to Glasgow Galaxy on Sunday, the 25th of July. The Galaxy scored on a ground out by Jim Seahar and a single by John Tafe, a walk by Brian Clark, and finally a single by Elvis in the first inning. The Oilers struggled to contain the high-powered offense of the Galaxy, giving up 12 runs overall. The Galaxy got on the board in the first inning, Seahar grounding out, scoring 1 run. Jake Wright took the win for Glasgow Galaxy. He has been pitching very well this season.
Right. Okay.
I think he's going from strength to strength as a pitcher, and I think if we see him do that more and more moving forward, I think the Galaxy have got a long-term arm that they can rely on.
You've got a new Luke, is what you're saying.
I think it's too early to say that, but certainly
Possibilities are there.
I think that the way Jake has stepped up mitigates the loss of Luke quite a bit.
Right.
They've obviously had a really rough start to the season, the Galaxy, but they've started to come around and do a hell of a lot better in the last couple of games. But yeah, so Las Kobani took the loss on the mound for the Oilers, which is going to be a tough one for him to take, man. Las has had a few really good outings recently.
I want to say that was his first loss of the season at that point.
Yeah, he allowed 7 hits he allowed the 12 runs on 7 hits. So a lot of walks or errors obviously would be the usual kind of. It's just
Scottish
the usual
baseball,
usual day out of the field. He struck out 4, which is quite a low strikeout total, I think, in our league. But then I think Lass is a guy who very much pitches to contact. From what I've experienced of playing against them. Ross Doyle, Paul Gardner, Jared Tomley, David Johnson, Connor Smith, and Federico Gambidotti each collected a hit to lead the Granite City Oilers.
So there we go. So like I said, we thank you guys. If you guys get game reports, we do our best to obviously cover them.
Absolutely.
And it really helps out when you guys do these, and for our audience in the States. So we have a huge audience in the States.
Yeah, about 36.4% of our listeners are in the United States.
Yes.
In case you're wondering.
Wow, there we go.
Most of them in Ohio.
So
for some reason.
That would be Eric Kittleberger.
Ohio, we love you.
That would be Eric Kittleberger just watching a show over and over again.
Especially you Daytonians.
I know where you're going with this. Pretty soon you're going to mention the Eric Pollard doing no hitter, but you know where
it's Robert Pollard.
It's Robert Pollard. Okay, well I got half of it right. I don't even like the band, so I got at least his last name right.
True. Yeah.
I know it's guided by voices, so
indeed.
I've never listened to their music, so I'm clearly just deprived. So.
You're missing out in a massive way. Let's move on with the baseball, shall we? So, like we said, the weekend of August 1st was a week off. It was the midsummer break. A chance for everyone to wind down, relax a bit, and enjoy the last weekend of the fair. So, in other words, it was hangover season. It was a weekend for people to sober up a bit. We'll go over the scores from the full 3-game slate on August 8th now.
Last weekend?
Yeah, this past Sunday. Now, I missed again the game. It wasn't only through injury, although I do have a pretty serious hamstring problem. It's probably going to keep me out for, if not the rest of the season, then most of it, unfortunately, which is heartbreaking after the start that we had. But I was down in Portsmouth giving away my lovely cousin Tracy at her wedding this past
I saw
weekend.
that you both look lovely.
Yeah.
So funny, it was a weekend of weddings. I went to a wedding. Went to a Zoom wedding.
A Zoom wedding?
I did the Zoom wedding.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Shout out to our buddy Heavy J, who had a Zoom wedding himself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Heavy J.
Yeah. Legend. So the Comets, my beloved Glasgow Comets, faced the Tayport Breakers this past Sunday. Back to winning ways, improving the record to 5-2 with a 15-6 victory over the Breakers. What I think is important to point out is how quickly the Breakers came out of the blocks. They had a 3-0 lead early, and it looked like they were going to hold it for a while longer until the Comets eventually did come alive and delivered a couple of really big at-bats to eventually pull away with that 15-6 victory. Another tremendous team performance by the guys, showing them a lot more of that mental toughness that we've shown earlier this season, rather than the kind of mistakes and the mental collapses that we tended to have in the wrong times in previous years. So it's good to right the ship a bit again, and obviously with the Devils as good as they are this year, every win from here on out counts as 2 It's very important to keep winning your games at the top end of the table.
It is a very slim margin of error on this season. Like I said, you lose 2 games and you find yourself mid-table.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've seen that already with people like Cannons. The Cannons have gone from, toiling toward the bottom to then second place or thereabouts. And, you've seen it with the Galaxy even, who had a really bad start. They've won a couple of games and now all of a sudden they are still in with very much with a shout of the postseason. Yeah. I believe it's the top 4, is it, that go to the postseason this year?
I do not know the format. I think the top 2 have a bye and everyone else is in that way, which could actually create a problem because if Edinburgh end up 1 and 2 and you guys end up 3 and 4. Where are you gonna play?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Unfortunately, that's worst case scenario, but that means probably a game on Saturday on that way. But
tell you what, Paul Convoy, if you're watching, let us know. Tell us the format of the postseason. I think it's top 4. For some reason,
I don't know. I thought it was everyone got
first be 4th, second be 3rd. Imagine.
I thought it was 1 and 2 got through the first round, and then it went 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5, and then through that way. So again, this would cause problems because again, so if it's and both Edinburgh teams go with the bye, and both Glasgow wins, that means you got to play both Saturday and Sunday, or 2 games on Sunday, and then the following week, both games are in Edinburgh because it'd be the home team.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to wait and see how this all comes around.
So this could be really interesting from a scheduling perspective. So we'll find out more. We don't know yet. It's been a busy summer, and it's actually this is the last week of the kids not being in school for me. So I can't wait. Yes, it's fantastic. I love my kids, but I'm looking forward to having some free time during the day again to not be yelled daddy every 5 minutes.
Love you, Arthur.
Yeah, exactly. When Arthur's 6, we'll be talking there. So
the next game on the this past weekend, the 8th of August, was Edinburgh Devils over the Granite City Oilers. Once again, the Devils put up over 20 runs. It was 21-5, the final score. Not only are the Devils scoring a lot of runs, but they're also at this point holding other teams to very few. And I think that's a really dangerous cocktail for any team that's trying to catch up with them this year. I think at this point, you have to look at the Devils as the marginal favourites for the title, given how consistent they've managed to stay. Obviously, there's no telling what could happen over the last few weeks of the season, but at the moment, it looks like it's the Devils to lose. The Comets and I believe 1 or 2 other teams do have a game in hand.
Right.
But I think especially with us dropping the 2 in a row, that causes us to be a bit more of an uphill battle for the Comets. And I think obviously the Cannons, it's one of those with the Cannons where if it was a full length season, they would be, I think, more comfortable. But obviously with it being such a truncated schedule, there's less time for them to make up that ground.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one there. So one of the highlights I wanted to point out for the Devils game, they had 19 people travel. That's almost unheard of.
Yeah, that's 2 and a bit teams.
That is 2 teams there.
Yeah.
2 teams and a scorekeeper. I mean, that's a good number of people there. That, you know what, that tells you how much the growth in baseball is there. Usually you had 6 guys show up for a game, maybe 7. And to actually get 19 people to show up for a game in Aberdeen. Yeah. Like I said, no one likes road trips.
It just goes to show as well how much fun winning is. Like winning makes it more fun. Making it more fun makes it more likely that people are going to show every week. So which I think comes around again to the overall structure of the league and the way it's going. The more competitive the game is, the more people are going to be interested in maintain that interest. Because you've got at this point people who don't even play but show up to games. There's a lady, I think her name's Tobietta, who started showing up to a lot of Glasgow games. There was the famous post on Facebook today of
what is this one?
The 2 Comets fans.
Wait, yes, the 2 Comets fans. I thought,
married.
Right, are we going to do that now? You do that or the end of the show? But
we'll talk more about that later. But
I didn't see that famous stuff.
Yeah, it was such a lovely post. But it just goes to show how a competitive league doesn't just make it more fun for us. It makes it more likely that people are going to become interested and sustain that interest.
Absolutely.
So we have one more result to get through from this past Sunday, and it was a tight one. The Edinburgh Cannons defeated the Glasgow Galaxy 5-4. I think that's a huge. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that that's the biggest win of the Cannons season so far. This was one they needed to take. I think it was probably a must-win game for both sides because they're both kind of working for that mid-table. Kind of bottom of the playoff seeding.
Absolutely, especially if it's the way we think it is. If it's the first 2 go through, that second seed's gonna be very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And also for the Cannons, it puts more pressure on the Comets
Mhm.
because while the Comets do have a game in hand, we've been shown to be vulnerable by the two games that we lost, which I believe one of them was to the Devils.
They're
and
clearly
one was
missing
to...
you. You're the good luck charm. You need to be there. That's making all the
Yeah,
difference right
the
there.
development first baseman is the key to it all.
Hey, you never know. Like you said, sometimes you just need that cheerleader on the sidelines. Go team, go.
We've got Fraser for that.
Okay, well, Fraser, good. Fraser, you're doing a good job, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. So that's the full slate of games from the 8th of August. Just one more note on the Cannons and Galaxy. When was the last time that you saw such a low-scoring game as a 5-4?
They happen. And the one that really sticks out in my mind was the 4th of July game, probably about 5 years ago. We played a 9-inning game. Final score was 3-2, and was won by a walk-off home run by Chris Walmart. And the game finished in under 2 hours.
Wow.
Yep. Want to guess who pitched that game? This
You
guy.
did.
Yeah, of course they do. Pitch to contact makes it go so much quicker.
Yeah.
But yes, it's unusual to see games that low. I'm loving to see the scores are close.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like everyone's getting blown out.
Yeah.
And it means we're playing very competitive baseball. And I think we can hang with pretty much anyone in Britain, minus the NBL guys.
Mhm.
And hey, they have paid players. They're playing for them so they can do well in the CEE Cups. And speaking of which, congratulations to the London Mets for winning. They won. They were the first team ever to win a CEV Cup in Moscow. So, hats off to them. That's quite an accomplishment. Like, that is a tough round of people to play with. And I know the London Capitals were in Ukraine, and they only won one game there. But one of our former players, Lewis Wampler, was down there. It was giving me that there. So yeah, so it was good to hear they did okay out there. But congratulations for the best ever British team to play abroad. So
for sure. Yeah. Well, why don't we get the team standings then up, and we'll have a wee look at the...
so there we go. Apparently it was the best game of Scottish baseball in a while, Cannons versus Galaxy. So there you go.
Wonderful.
He has some short-term memory there because he doesn't remember my game there.
Thanks so much for the comment.
Thank you so much, Fiona. That's awesome to hear. That's always nice to hear that was a good team game. I'm just going to pull up our scores here. Ooh, there's a lovely guy there. And we'll get the standings up as soon as my ancient computer decides to work.
But first, the word from our sponsors.
I'm not going there. I have to practice that more.
So the Ballcaps and Bagpipes podcast is brought to you by
Dog Classics.
Soccer Classics.
UK and Europe's largest vintage baseball supplier.
Yeah.
Get your jerseys at dogclassics.com.
Indeed.
There we go.
Now that we've got all this nonsense out of the way, let's take a look at the standings. So in AAA, you have the Edinburgh Diamond Devils, like we said, they are in first place with a 7 wins, 1 loss record. So after 8 games, they are almost spotless, and they are putting up massive amounts of runs as well. So like we said a moment ago, now that they've started to pitch even better and are holding teams to fewer runs, it's going to be hard to topple the Devils off that perch. Now, obviously, the Devils have been there many a time before, but it's been a while for the Devils. What do you attribute to their resurgence? Do you think do you think that they've benefited especially from the collapse of the Giants in the last year or two?
I think with the Giants being gone, that all suddenly freed up, say, 3 guys to go to each team and kind of even those teams out instead of being stretched thin. It's become okay. And I think that what the developmental league is absolutely what it's done is create a place where people keep coming back and back. And go, okay, I may not play on the AAA team, but I'm getting playing time in the developmental league and I'm enjoying it. There's not as much pressure there. And then it gives you something to work towards to get up that way. So I think it's a combination of both that's really kind of making everything just good. I mean, as much as I would like to see the Giants come back, it might just be spreading the Edinburgh teams too thin. And without the tapework breakers, we would have tried to do something like that. At least previously, we would have tried to do something like that. So with having the 2 teams and the developmental teams, I think that's what just made it stronger that way. And then, knowing that you're going to have enough guys show up makes a huge difference.
It's good for the quality of the game in this country to maximize teams' potential rather than maximizing the number of teams just because you've got the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. I think it was a tough one to say let's do it. But I think it was also the right thing there because it was just a struggle for all three teams to get enough players now. And now you're at the point now, okay, well, we do have a solid core of 12 guys who are good to play every week. And then we can get some time for developmental guys with their game before that. So what I like to see developmental league start playing 2-hour games and grow that next season. I would think that would be amazing to get that going there. So we'll find out how what the plan is in the off season. Not only there, but and, getting as many people as at bats and playing time as they can in a low pressure situation. Absolutely, I think that's going to be the key to growing the sport for the next few years.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, before we move on to the rest of the AAA standings, I want to point out that we've been given a comment about the Breakers. So thanks to Jason West and the Breakers for hosting an umpire school at their field during the off week. That's Brian Clark of the Glasgow Galaxy. And Fiona has commented again saying, defo agree to have longer dev games, which I think is probably where it's headed. I mean, we're going to do away with development and make it A-ball or AAA eventually, which I can't wait to see that happen. I want to see it be more levels and be more of a kind of graduation and relegation type deal, like a farm system.
A farm system, or some like a EPL kind of thing there.
Yeah, like a reserves.
Get regulated. Go no.
I didn't mean relegation as in no. I mean like
I knew you guys. I'm
more
just
like
giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
Yes.
promotion and options and optioning to put it in nicer terms. So tied for second place, both matching 5-2 records are the Edinburgh Cannons and the Glasgow Comets. Like we've covered, that's largely probably where you would expect both teams to be with the trajectory that both their seasons have had. Cannons obviously had a pretty tough start. Started to come into their own. Comets, we've been the opposite. We won 4 straight to start, and then we've kind of had a bit of a bump with 2 straight losses. Obviously, great win this past Sunday though over the Breakers. So I'm really excited to see where things go over the coming weeks.
3 weeks. I assume there's 3 more. I think.
So there's 3 more weeks of the league games, and then a make-up week.
Right.
And obviously with the COVID issue, and week 2. There are 4 teams that do have a game in hand, so it's going to be interesting to see how that will factor in with how close it is among the top 3.
I was wondering
that extra week could end up being the one that decides things.
I was wondering if it was going to be a 10-game season. I actually don't know the schedule. So a 10-game season, that means you played every team twice, and then you go into
11 games.
11-game season.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not much left in the season. So it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. This is where it gets really competitive, and of course, this is also gets to the rainy part of the year for us.
We're going to take a look at this coming Sunday's games later, but this coming week is going to be quite a doozy.
Right. Okay. Lay it on. Let's hear it.
We'll get to that after we do the standings. At 3 and 4 in 4th place are the Granite City Orioles. The Glasgow Galaxy are currently at 2 and 5. They've had periods of stuttering, especially early on in the season, but they are starting to show more of that potential and more of that ability that they have. Like I've said, Jake has really stepped into the role that he's been given this year with aplomb. You know, he smashed a home run in the opening game of the season. I think he's doing everything that you could realistically expect of one player to fill so many different gaps that they have.
You're saying he's your Shohei Ohtani.
He probably is Glasgow Shohei Ohtani.
He's a Glaswegian.
He's pretty excellent. I can't say enough about Jake. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's a fantastic guy as well. On top of that,
we need to get like a shirt made of Ouija Ohtani, and then
Ouija.
Come on, you know, somebody would buy that. At least his mom. So
yeah. So the Table Breakers are saying thanks, bud, to Brian. Happy to do it. Kudos to all who made it over. The Breakers, incidentally, are currently still sitting in 6th and last place, still without a win at this point. They're 0-8 for the season now. I'm kind of disappointed. I was disappointed to see them go into the midsummer break without a victory because I feel like it's something that they deserve more of. You know, they don't deserve to be 0-8. I don't think when you look at balance of play and you look at some of the contact the guys have been making, especially in games.
The comments. Sandy Ohtani.
Sandy Ohtani.
I love it.
Well, Ian, now that you mention it, that's food for thought. Sandy Ohtani is a great point, to be honest. So that's your standings. Obviously, the Devils, again, I think it's probably theirs to lose at this point, but like we've covered, the last week of the season, that extra week of make-up games could end up being difference maker. So watch this space.
Absolutely. I mean, there's only one game difference there. We could end up with, in theory, a three-way tie at first place there. So at Tayport, like I said, it's a tough one. Hang in there, guys. Like, we're wishing you nothing but the best there. Like, from everything I've heard, you guys are right in the cusp of winning games there. It's just a couple of things there, and we're pulling for you to get that first game. So
yeah. Now let's move on to baseball equipment. I just wanted to cover this pretty quickly this evening. Do a wee bit of a kind of rundown of equipment in baseball for anyone who might be new to the sport. I know that there's been a lot of people this year who have started to engage with the game that aren't necessarily looking to get involved with playing or volunteering, but just have an interest, a passing interest in the fact that there are Scottish teams. So Jason, what do you need, first off, fundamentally, to be a baseball player?
Glove. You gotta have a good glove.
What kind of glove? It's important, I think, as well, to distinguish that there are various different types of glove. Picking the right equipment is very dependent on a lot of different factors. Am I right? It's what position
You're playing.
You know, what size are you? What type of league are you playing in?
So pretty much your standard outfield glove will do the trick. I'll be a little bit larger there. I mean, I've got my glove here, happily. There you go. So it is a 12-inch glove. I definitely need to get some oil on that sucker. Yes, exactly. You don't have to pay much for one. I would expect to pay at least 50 pounds for a glove. And you can get them as fancy as you want. So I got mine custom made because I figured I was only gonna have one more glove in my lifetime. So literally I've owned 4 gloves in my lifetime. So I had my Dale Murphy Pro Model Rawlings glove. That was my first glove at 6 years old. That lasted all the way through high school. Shit, you not? Yeah. I bought my. No. Because it was my pitcher's glove, so that was it. So and then I had my first baseman's glove that I bought at 14, and that was my other glove. So I had my first baseman glove that I used all the time there, and when I came to pitch, I still used the same glove for 12 years. My Dale Murphy Pro Model one, and then I had my mom send me a glove when I first moved out here. Again, say 12-inch model, knowing that I can do that there, and that lasted for 12 years. 10 years before I said, all right, we'll get one more glove. I obviously got my there. You don't have to spend much on a glove, but glove care is important. Yes. So you should oil it. This should be a darker blue than what it is for glove. And like I said, we want to go by fit. And the one thing you want to do is make sure you don't let anyone else stick their hands in your glove, because it will be molded to your hand only. So
I definitely don't do what Johnny Gould did to Nomar Garcia-Parra's glove that one time.
I don't remember this. Refresh my memory.
So the Channel 5 guys, Johnny Gould, they went on tour, and Johnny picked up Nomar's glove in the dugout. He went, oh, that's Nomar's glove, and Nomar was terrible for weeks after it because he had cursed his glove.
I think he did that on purpose, because Johnny Gould's a Brave fan, if I remember correctly.
I believe he is, yes. It's also worth mentioning that Big Johnny celebrated a 60th birthday just recently. So
wow!
Very happy 60th birthday to the big guy.
So as we go back to the size of your glove, 12-inch glove is absolutely fine. Like, you literally, like, a 13-inch glove is an outfielder's glove. You don't need any bigger than that. It's really just as nice and simple as that. If you play a middle infield position or third base, even, you want a smaller glove, you might want to go to 11-inch glove there, and that's just literally to get it in and out as quickly as possible. So gloves cost from as little as 20 quid. Don't recommend them. They're usually a fake cowhide. You'll see it. It looks very plastic. Usually sold at Comets Sports, and they go up to, funny enough, I saw an alligator skin glove going for $1,000 there. So it's apparently, if you live in Florida, you need an alligator skin glove. So
that sounds like Kenny Powers level nonsense.
Exactly. I mean, who needs apparently it holds up quite well.
Yeah.
I've seen the elephant skin glove, which apparently you can do. Again, seems really odd, but I don't know. It's
not liking that.
Yeah, it was. Sylvan sent me on a deep dive in gloves. I think he actually looked at like kangaroo leather as a. Yeah, exactly. And there was all these weird animals that you can get gloves for. But yes, like I said, literally get a glove to start with, and then if you decide you really enjoy baseball, spend like £100 on a glove and it will literally last you a lifetime. Like, as long as you take care of it, and in the off season you put a ball in it, and you don't just throw it in a quarter, you keep it dry and all that. So I absolutely can keep a glove in good condition and it can last forever. I mean, you look at major leaguers, they literally have like 3 gloves that they have all year long. They'll have the one they're using, the one they're breaking in, and their one to like play catching, and they'll use that same glove year round. And as soon as someone breaks, they put it on there. So if the pros can play 162 games plus practices like that, you can do just fine a $100 glove for years.
And you're getting the ball hit at them at 110 miles an hour as well. The impact on the glove in a major league game is a considerable distance from what we would ever experience. I got my glove for £13.
Right. Where'd you get your glove at?
eBay.
See, there you go.
Yep. Always, if you're looking for a new glove, check eBay in the off season, just after like college time, because that's when a lot of people tend to sell their gloves online if they've moved on from the game or whatever. So that's tip.
Whatever you do, if you buy a glove here in the UK, you buy a glove here in the States or the Netherlands, because with COVID, like I said, you're gonna get hit with the VAT. It's just part of it. You cannot avoid it, and it's going to send about a third of your price up because of it there. So
that begs the question: when is Dugout Classics going to start selling gloves?
Never.
I've seen this place. You barely have space for the jerseys. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the first time we've had 2 people in here, so trying to put this full gloves. If anything, I do baseball bats. I think baseball bats would be far more interesting than actual gloves would be. Because the glove, I feel like the glove, you need to put your hand in it. And when you're buying it blind, you don't know what you're getting. Whereas a bat, you can pretty much go, okay, I want a 110 model bat, and no matter which 110 model bat, it will feel the same no matter what. So
before we move on from gloves,
all right.
If you're interested in baseball but you don't want to play, you can still get yourself a glove in the form of a wallet. An excellent wallet. This was made by Big Les over at When It Was a Game.
When It Was a Game.
Check out their Facebook. It's just When It Was a Game, I believe it's called.
And the website.
Yeah, they have a website as well, which is.
You're gonna pull it up there. Yep. See.
Whenitwasagame.org, or just contact lweber@binary.net. That's his email address.
So John's got his wallet. I've got my wallet here. As long as I don't screw the cam up.
This was a wonderful gift from Les after we interviewed him on the NLBM broadcast that we were doing.
But who is on your wallet?
One Derek Sanderson Jeter.
So there you go. So give you props to Les, my favorite player, Tony Gwynn, and he gave me that there. So he takes old gloves and he refurbishes them into wallets and other things there. Gosh, there's a way, and don't just think he does it for the guys. There's stuff for the girls there as well too. He does a baseball purse,
card holders. He does basically anything leather that you want your baseball glove to be repurposed into, or you maybe want to buy a baseball glove but don't want to actually play the game. It's an excellent memento to have. Great prices, and Les is just a lovely old man.
Absolutely, and his son played Major League Baseball. So
yes.
So yes, we would have Les back on.
We need to try and
off-season goals when we're not doing anything.
Just as long as I don't have to do 2 interviews a night with the flu for 3 straight weeks this time.
You did well.
I'm happy to do whatever. So let's move back let's talk more about equipment then. What are some of the notable companies to look out for? Who would you rank as the ones that are up there as the kind of toppermost of the poppermost, so to speak?
So you're going to see Rawlings everywhere. They are the ones that sponsored the Gold Glove. It's the Rawlings Gold Glove there. There are tons of glove manufacturers. There's not going to be a huge difference between them, because once you're spending enough money on it, like they'll all be pretty much the same there. And it really comes down to personal choice on whether you like the glove or not. You can spend the money to go like this. You can your web custom. So I got mine custom there, and they'll have different webs there. And so do your research. There are 20, 30 different glove companies out there, and you can just find something you like and fits your budget needs. I guess that's the important thing there. So there's so many different manufacturers of these gloves. Just find one you like, and they do it. I mean, it's Ross up in Dundee who's got the ice cream glove.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you can do whatever you want. So I get one glove to start, and I would absolutely spend the money and buy a really nice glove that you can use the rest of your life.
want to give another shout out to one of our North American friends as well. If you're interested in gloves that again don't want to play, there's another unique kind of twist you can put on things.
Wow.
We know someone who manufactures and designs old-time baseball gloves.
Yes, we do. Oh gosh, yeah. We'll have to cover that on another episode.
Yeah,
but
we should go into the evolution of equipment, try and get him back on. But fly on you.
That's all right. That's how fly I am. The dad jokes never end. Anyways, yes. So
pretty fly for a middle-aged guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Jesus. So
I'm creeping up, don't worry.
You're on there. So William Peebles of Huntington Baseball Co., who actually does the Baseball Scotland official baseballs there. Also
which you can buy from
Dugout Classics. We still have a few left. I'll do a giveaway.
Do we have one we can show?
They're here somewhere. I'll have to find them later. It's a mess in here. Like I wasn't expecting guests till about a day ago. Yeah, see, exactly. You're just pulling stuff out now. And William does old time baseball, so it's the rules of the game are set in the 1870s, and it's a proper glove there. And so yes, William's a great guy.
Yes.
And we can talk about the history of gloves another time when it's not the season there. So
he's a fascinating guy to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a good time with William.
Yeah. So we'll need to try and get him back on in the off season, talk about the evolution of baseball gloves in a more general sense from the beginning to now.
You know what? He's doing well. I dropped a message that said he was at Cooperstown the other weekend there for a Hall of Fame weekend. So it was good to see that he's doing well. And so we'll get him on as a guest again, and maybe we'll do that in the off season to keep us busy, so we have something to do besides count down the days till spring training.
So Brian Clark's just commented again. He says, "Get Albert an alligator skin glove." That is something that I'm surprised Albert doesn't already have, to be honest.
I think if you're going to get him a glove, he actually needs to wrestle an alligator first and put it in a submission hold. I think that's part of the rule.
Put it in a sharpshooter.
Like I said, if he can like elbow drop it a few times and knock it out, I think he's got a chance. And then we can make sure to make a glove for him and some boots as well. We might as well get everything.
Yeah, crocodile boots.
Exactly. Why not?
I'm going to take this off. All right. So bats then. Picking the right bat is probably one of the key components of choosing your equipment as a baseball player. What should people look for? What should people stay away from? And who would you call the best bat manufacturer?
Oh, that's a tough one there. So bats are personal choice, and your standard model is a 110 model, and that's what pretty much everyone swings there. And there are literally hundreds of different variations of different bat models here. So I've got my, number 73. So apparently this was the Barry Bonds model. And what it is here is a thicker handle. It's weighted on this end more. And if you can see, you've got a thicker end cap there, and that gives it the balance. So it doesn't seem as heavy as the way it is there. A lot of it has to do with weight. So most of it is -3. So I swing a 34-inch bat and it weighs 31 ounces. That is the maximum amount of weight you can take off is -3. You can obviously go -2, -1, or 0. I am not John Nelson who can just pick up trees and swing these things. So, and you're going to find different models are different suited. So if you are starting the game off, a 110 is the perfect model there. If you are more of a kind of a power hitter or gap hitter, you can get something with a bigger barrel. And it's going to come down to literally feel, and that's the hardest part about being a British baseball player is you can't just go into a local sporting goods store and start picking up bats and going, I like the weight of that, I like the weight of that there. So you actually need to do the research beforehand to go, okay, this feels all right, I like that. And that's the toughest bit. So if you ever get a chance to go to the States and you can go to a bat store and just start looking at that and go, okay, these are the models I want to feel, and swing that bat. And it for me, it's a feel thing. I can pick it up and go, wow, I wish I would have swung this earlier in my career.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
And it's hard. So the bat companies, again, they all use the same wood. It's all produced in the same area. There's not to say there's not. I literally have one so this bat here is a pillbox bat. They were nice enough to send it to me. And I do my best to promote them, and they're cool guys as well. We interviewed them as well.
I did.
And and they do a really good bat. I use this for games. So the one thing I would say about bat, I would say you buy 2 bats. You your one for training that you can just not care about, and then your gamer that you use just for games, and your bat will last for years. So I've had a bat last a weekend.
Yeah.
And that was my own fault because I slammed it down and cracked that thing. And I've had other bats last 5 years. So depending on what kind of bat you have and how you take care of it, your bat can last for a long time. The main thing being is you want to go with the grains.
Yeah.
So when you do it and you don't, you're going to break a bat. It happens. So
Don't swing at cutters that'll break in on you.
but yeah, so good bat companies. War Stick is probably one of my favorites. I've bought quite a few War Stick ones. I started buying their bats in as early, I think, as 2011. They have gotten huge in the last 10 years. They they're co-owned by Ian Kinsler and Jack White from the Whites. Is his White Stripes?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm not that old yet. So so they are all part owners of that. And Jack White's a huge baseball fan, and they seem to get together and play these Sandlot games, which is really cool. The guy in charge, his name escapes me in the moment. He was a baseball player throughout uni, and then did design as his major, and then realized that there was actually no one's done anything with a baseball bat besides maybe flame treated and like that, and he wanted to see bats with color, and he was the first person that started doing bats with color, so half dip, full dip, and that there. And I thought, hey, that was pretty cool. And he did some amazing research on the different types of bat there. Again, you want to want like a maple or an ash bat. There are birch bats you can get out there, and it's gonna be a matter of choice. I've used a birch bat. It seems to be Springer off the when you hit the ball, which is weird. And funny enough, I've used a bamboo bat for a while.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, bamboo bat. And it's kind of like a composite, and it's your bamboo pressed together. And actually, I thought that was a lot of fun to play with. And I believe Sylvain broke that on accident when he used it one time. So Sylvain, if you're watching, you owe me a bat still. But yeah, so there, again, with a bat, there's no wrong company to go with. Like I said, you can. I played with a blank bat from people that do Viper bats. They do just stock bats alone, and they come. Gosh, do I have? Oh, I have it. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that. Came prepared, and literally, that's it. This is my practice bat that I used to use. Same model. So you can see, still have the cupped area up there. So it's like that. And literally, all I have done with it is it came this way, and I varnished it myself, and the other one's inside, and where I flame treated it, and I put I took a kitchen blowtorch, and I burnt it. So you had to like
Instagram.com/bubblingbaseball. We'll fire up a picture of that later.
And so yeah, so I mean, this bat I paid $30 for. I literally, and I used this for 4 years, and zero problems with it there. So you don't need to go and spend $120, $130 on a bat and have it shipped over. You literally can get a bat for $30 and it lasts forever there. So all they haven't done is they haven't put the varnish on, they haven't painted it, and it's just called a blank bat, and that's done the trick there. So so if you guys have your questions about bats, please send me a DM. I'll answer anything you want. I've done a lot of research in bats, and it'd be awesome to get somebody to actually sponsor us and give us bats, or not give us bats, but maybe let us buy bats and bring them over, because that'd be pretty awesome to have your own Scottish National League bat.
Absolutely, yeah. So if there's anyone watching it with a bat company, get in touch with Paul. Let's close things up there. Before we do, we will take a wee look at this coming Sunday schedule, and like I said, it's a doozy. First game we have coming up is the Edinburgh Cannons. They travel to Aberdeen. They have the honour of playing the Aberdeen Oilers. That's going to be a big game for the Cannons. Also a big game for the Oilers. Obviously, the Oilers sitting at 3 and 4. If they can get to 500 and then finish up with a strong last couple of weeks, there's no, they're by no means out of the race for the top 2. So they'll be wanting to put in 110% effort these next few weeks and try to make up that ground. They are one of the 4 teams that has a game in hand as well, so they are very much still in this. The second game of this coming Sunday, we've got Tayport, and they are visiting the Glasgow Galaxy in Glasgow.
That could be a good game.
That should be a good game. Yeah.
That could be one that two feels they could actually win. So
Yeah, and it'll be a big one for the Galaxy as well, as they look to try and ensure that they'll make it into the postseason as well. And the last one, which I think is going to be a cracker, it's a huge game. I'm going to be there. I don't think I'll play, but I will be in Edinburgh this weekend. It's the Comets at the Edinburgh Diamond Devils. So the top two teams for most of the season. Comets had a couple of losses. The Cannons have caught up with the Comets, so it's going to be crucial for the Comets to try and get a win there. It's going to be very difficult. This team, the Diamond Devils, have been absolutely tremendous this year. So that has the makings of a classic.
Absolutely. I mean, that could really throw a spanner into the works there if the Comets win that one. So that if you're in Edinburgh, I do recommend popping on and go see that game there. I might even try to find time to go down and check it out.
Is it hyperbole to call it game of the season? If the Comets win that game, then it swings the pendulum a wee bit more towards kind of the Comets. If the Devils win that game, then it probably makes them champions elect.
Quite
for
possibly,
all intents and purposes, with how tight things have been.
If I knew how they decided who wins the league, if it was with ties, that would probably help say that. But I'd definitely say it's one of the most important games of the season right here.
If it's by runs scored total or run differential, the Devils are, that's where they're amazing.
I think it still goes head to head first.
Yeah.
So
we shall see.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. Like I said, we're getting to the fun part of the season where everyone's all of a sudden trying to win the games to make sure that you get that there and a place where you can. So we get the cup going on in the off season, and you want to get your good placement in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's close there then. Let's first off plug our social media channels. If you're watching live, obviously, you know that we're at facebook.com/Caps and Pipes. We're also at Twitter. It's at Caps and Pipes. He's at Bubble and Baseball, and I'm at John Caps Pipes on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram at Ballcaps and Bagpipes. You can just find us through Linktree, which is linktree.com/Caps and Pipes. That's got the Spotify, the iTunes, and several other links, including YouTube. So we have a presence on all of those. If you just search Ballcaps and Bagpipes on YouTube or the podcast provider of your choice, you'll come up.
Trust me, there's no one else in the world called Ballcaps and Bagpipes. You Google us, we're coming up. You're going to find us.
I'm the Ballcaps. He's the Bagpipes. We've been Ballcaps and Bagpipes. And I think I got that the wrong way around. You did get the wrong way. I'm pretty sure I'm the Ballcap guy. He's the Ballcaps. I'm the Bagpipes. And that'll be it for this week. We'll see you again next week with hopefully some exciting results. Weekend of baseball to talk about. Or a rain out at this time of year. It'll be either. So we'll find out. It's festival time in Edinburgh, so it always rains out. So yeah, exactly. Thank you so very much for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're listening to the audio version, please do check out previous episodes. All previous episodes are on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. Obviously, you can find most of the video versions on Facebook, and all the video casts that we've done so far are on YouTube as well. I will very slowly get around to catching up with the MLB Mark podcast feed, which is its own separate feed now. Just search NLB Mark podcast on your podcast provider of choice, or visit YouTube, where you can find video. Find everything we've done. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm gradually getting back to catching up with things. We'll catch up with things, yeah. So as I said, we'll be on every Tuesday night from 9 o'clock till the rest of the season there. Well, at least one of us will be on there. We apologize for missing there because it's been a busy summer. It's been a very busy summer. Go Yankees and Bobby Bonilla. Oh, man, I should not let you wear that Aaron Judge thing anymore. So, all right, guys, see you next week. Good night.